Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. I'm enjoying a wee bit of a walk here in Voer, which is a Flemish enclave in the French part of the country. Sounds interesting. 1980s politics, I promise you it's not. But what is promising and what is interesting is that last night I was invited to Hans's 60th birthday and he presented a tasting with, it was epic. It was epic. We had an Imperial, we had a Glen Albin, we had all kinds of closed distilleries, and one of those bottles I sneaked away this morning after breakfast and I took it with me because I thought this was a bottle that you just might be interested in. This is a Port Ellen, 19 years old, distilled in 1982, which is the year before the distillery closed for good. And then this was bottled in November 2001, making it a 19 years old. It is bottled by Douglas Lang in their Old Malt Cask series, and this one is cut to 50%, which is something Old Malt Cask is wont to do. So a 19 years old Port Ellen at 50% ABV. And what's so special about this, not only that it's a closed and almost legendary distillery, scrap the almost, it is a legendary distillery, but this is from a sherry cask. That's not something you come across very often. So we have a legendary bottling with a sherry matured Port Ellen. What's not to like? And that's the one I would like to try today. And I'll put the bottle back before Hans wakes up, no worries. But I would like to dedicate this little rambling to my good friend Hans, because he invited me to his 60th birthday and this was in the lineup. That's what friends do. Right, the Port Ellen, 19 years old, 1982, at 50% ABV from a sherry cask, which you can see actually from the color because it is a slightly amber, old golden to amber. Let's give this one a go on the nose. It's meaty. In one word, it's flabbergastingly good. But if I were to analyze this, I do get the sherry notes and I do get the maritime notes that are, that are typical for the house for Port Ellen. But it's got this meaty undertone. It's a bit umami, in fact, like roast beef, some macadamia nuts in there as well. And then comes the sherry influence, which translates into a bit of dried apricots, some raisins and sultanas, and a lost fig in the background. But it's the maritime notes that are typical to Port Ellen that dominate here, which is something to be happy about. Right, on the palate then. Nicely mouth coating, a bit syrupy in fact. It's a thick and creamy Port Ellen here. Despite the only 50% ABV, it is a bit feisty, and the sherry cask has definitely added some extra spices here. I get a bit of paprika, a bit of black pepper, some coriander as well. And then again, I've got this beautiful balance between, on the one hand, the salty maritime notes that are typical for Port Ellen, and on the other hand, those sweet and dark notes that are typical for sherry cask maturation. This is actually the best of both worlds. On the finish then. That finish is long, satisfying, and slightly drawing towards the end, which is something again to write on the account of the sherry wood. In one word, flabbergastingly good. This is epic. And for me, this was the highlight of last night's tasting, and it was a tasting of nothing but highlights, but this one especially jumped out. The Port Ellen 1982, 19 years on a sherry butt and bottled in 2001. So basically it spent more time in the bottle than it ever spent on the sherry cask. And I'll have you know, I said before the distillery closed for good that next year the distillery will in fact reopen. Again, something to look out for. But that's all for this week's Rambling, and again a shout out to Hans on his 60th birthday, because that's what this was all about. So Hans, this one is for you, and for the rest of you, I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you. Bye bye.